Hey everyone, Matt here, back for another video. In this video, I'm hoping to clarify a little bit of confusion that I've been witnessing here on the channel. But hey, before we get into it, over the last few months, this channel has grown massively. There's been exponential growth, which has been so incredibly exciting. So I want to take a second to thank all of you who continue coming back to not only watch our content, but leave really nice comments and connect with Corey and me. We're so incredibly grateful for all of you, and we truly love connecting with each and every one of you on our videos. But along with the growth, now that we have, nearly 54,000 of you here that are committed, watching our content, supporting this channel, which again is just so incredibly exciting. So thank you once again. But along with that, there's maybe a little bit of confusion or maybe something that some of you may not know. I would anticipate maybe of the 54,000 of you, there's probably about, I would say probably 10,000 that probably know this. So that's actually what's prompted me to make this video. And I hope you can stick around for just a couple minutes and kind of walk through this with me because it's maybe interesting and something you may not actually have realized. But I just want to throw this out there. I am a person who represents a community. You may not know, but I'll give you a little bit of a couple hints here. I'm a member of a community that is generally pretty small and unique, but yet this community is encompassed with people who are typically very smart, we're talented, and we're typically overlooked, as well as, unfortunately, in many situations, we're also doubted. Do you know what the community is? Well, I'll tell you. I'm a member of the blind and visually impaired community. If you didn't know that, and if you didn't catch the name, Blind to Billionaire, yeah, it's actually true. So I am blind. I'm not totally blind, like my world is not black, but I have light perception. So what that means is basically I can see bright lights still in most situations. It's not always, but in a lot of situations I can still see bright lights. Whereas sometimes I could be standing outside on a bright day and I couldn't tell you if it's bright or dark outside. It's really weird. In fact, interesting note, right behind the camera is a couple big windows and it's bright outside because it's about, I don't know, 10:30 a.m. right now. But as I look that direction, I mean, I can see that it's kind of bright, but it's like, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. If I looked away and kind of looked back, I wouldn't be able to tell you, like, I don't know, is it bright or dark, or I don't know what's going on out there. So that's what's interesting. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because over the last few months, I've received a handful of comments, not a ton, but I would say probably, I don't know, maybe 1 to 2 of these comments every day. And the comments are something like, why are you staring at the ceiling? Is there a spider on the wall? Hey, you couldn't possibly make it any more obvious that you're reading from a monitor. Well, here's what I want to say to that is the reason that I look that way is because I can't see the camera. Typically, before I start recording, I'll reach out and feel the camera to get an idea of where we are. But a few minutes into recording, for example, right now, I've lost track where the camera is. So I'm looking to where I think it is, but I can't actually see it. I think I'm looking maybe where it's supposed to be, but I could be totally off by a couple inches. So I'm actually kind of looking for the black void in the brightness from the window, but as I look for it, it's like, is that it right there? No, I don't really think so. So that's actually what's prompted me to make this video because, with those comments, it's like, I don't want people to think like I'm reading from a monitor because I'm not. I memorize all the content before I get into a video. And in some situations, when you see Corey sitting in a video with me and she maybe just sits there and doesn't talk a whole lot, but yet maybe I pass her my notes and say, okay, what's on my notes? A lot of times in those situations when I have a lot of information that I want to cover, I simply ask Corey to sit in the video with me so that in the event I need help with my notes because I don't know what is on my notes because I can't see my notes, I pass them over to Corey and say, okay, what do I want to talk about next? Or for example, the last video that we produced, there were a lot of question and answer type topics that I wanted to talk about in that video. Well, for me to be able to memorize 12 or 15 different questions that I want to talk about in that video, the likelihood of me hitting on all of those questions and covering everything that I want to in that video just off of memory is highly unlikely. Typically, if there's, I don't know, a few different points that I want to talk about, I can just memorize it and I'm fine to do a video by myself. But many times, if I don't have a reference to look down at or anything to reference throughout the video, just going off memory is actually pretty difficult. So a lot of times if you see Corey in the videos with me and she's there and not doing a whole lot of talking, it's simply because I've just asked her to join me to help me out because I can't see my notes. In fact, I have a stack of papers here on the desk right below me, and it's literally just blank papers. But before I start recording, what I do is I write down what I want to talk about in that video. Even though I can't see it, the simple act of just writing down whatever it is that I want to discuss in that video, just the act of writing, even though I can't see it, helps me remember. So then when I look down at my notes, even though I can't even see the paper, I can't even see the table, first of all. I can't even see the table. But even when I look down like this at my notes, pretending, to be like referencing my notes, it kind of triggers in my mind like, oh yeah, that's what I have written on line 2 is I want to talk about this. So I think it would be a valuable but yet interesting video talking about, me being a blind person making these videos. And one thing I want to clarify is from the very start of this channel, even though my content has changed a few times over the last roughly 2.5 years that this channel has been around, my commitment from the very start has been, I want to create content that represents the blind and visually impaired community and shows people like, hey, yeah, I can't see. I can't see a whole lot of anything other than bright lights, but yet I can still create content. I can still deliver valuable information. I can still connect with all of you. And it doesn't matter if I have sight or not. And so there's just a lot of confusion about blind and visually impaired people. And some people have been saying down in the comment section over the last few months, maybe leaving mean comments, something like, you're a phony. You're not doing any of this. You just record the videos. You don't respond. You don't do your own editing. You don't do anything, but you just make the videos. And my rebuttal to that is, actually, I do make the videos. I not always do the editing, simply because a lot of times it's easier for Corey just to quick edit a video for me versus me trying to do it, which takes a lot longer, but I still do it. As far as the responses to all the comments down below, if you leave a comment and you get a reply, that's me. I do all of that. Corey doesn't do any of that. And I've had a lot of people asking, well, if you can't see, if you're blind, how do you respond to comments? Or how do you write emails? Or how do you make these videos? Well, like I just said, before I start recording, I reach out and I feel for the camera. But if you're unaware, I use an iPhone, and that's how I record my videos. And there's a setting on the iPhone called voiceover. And basically what that is the phone just talks to me. Everything that is on my screen, if I touch it, it talks to me. So currently my phone is set on voiceover. What I do is I set the camera all up, I get it ready, and I have Corey come and look at it. Or if I'm by myself, I'll call her on FaceTime as the phone is up in the tripod, and I'll say, hey, how do I look? And she'll say, oh, looks good. And the camera's centered, and I'll say, perfect. So then I'll leave the tripod exactly where it is. Then what I do is, as the phone is still on voiceover, this talking feature, I'll push the record button and then I plug my microphone in. So that's what I do. And then I just sit down and start talking in many situations. But this setting, voiceover, allows me to basically use a phone just like everybody else, going through, responding to comments and writing emails and uploading these videos, writing titles, tags, putting in the thumbnails, things like that. You can still do it. It just takes me a little bit longer versus someone who's sighted. So anyway, I feel like this video could be a little bit interesting and eye-opening, but at the same time, as for my commitment from the very start, which is just continue to create content, connecting with people and just showing all of you like, hey, just because I'm blind and I can't see what I'm doing doesn't mean that I still can't make these types of videos. But anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video and hopefully clarify a little bit, because like I said, I keep getting these comments down below of people just saying, you're a phony. Why are you looking at the wall? Why are you looking at the ceiling? You're clearly reading from a monitor. Why are you doing that? And it's not that at all. It's just simply that I can't see the camera and I'm trying to find it and I'm trying to look at it. And I record all these videos simply off of memory unless Corey's here to help me navigate my notes when I'm here. But anyway, my commitment remains the same. Continuing to provide valuable content, connecting with each of you, and doing the necessary research that it takes, just like anybody else who's sighted and can use their vision to do their research. I maybe just do it a little bit differently, but I still gather the necessary information and I deliver it to you just like everybody else. So I just want to say I sincerely thank all of you for taking the time out of your day, like I said earlier, to watch these videos, to continue connecting with me. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you who reaches out all the time. It's so much fun connecting with everybody and just really having this channel. So hopefully this clears up a little bit more confusion. And like I said, I think, a handful of you know this already, but I think this might be an interesting video for those of you who have maybe been wondering a little bit but haven't said anything. So hopefully this clarifies for you. But anyway, have a great day, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow with definitely more information and some interesting content. Have a nice day, and we'll catch you soon. See ya.